an 84-year-old man, a veteran, accidentally brushed against a motorcycle outside a bar. But instead of help, he was shoved to the pavement while everyone just watched. 30 minutes later, the sky trembled. A Black Hawk helicopter landed right at the doorstep. Because he wasn't alone, and he wasn't just some ordinary old man. Section 1. The Incident. Harold Hal Morgan didn't look like much. At 85, he walked with a limp and wore the same weathered field jacket every Thursday. Faded green, frayed at the cuffs, with a ghost of a name tag above the heart. He always made the same circuit. Corner deli, cup of diner coffee, and a slow walk home past Riley's bar on Fifth Avenue. That day, the wind was sharp, and Hal clutched a small paper bag with rye bread and menthol lozenges. As he passed the usual row of parked motorcycles outside Riley's, his coat barely grazed a chrome handlebar. It wobbled, but didn't fall. Hal paused, turned, and lifted his hand in apology. "Didn't mean to touch it, son. My coat's bulkier than I thought," he said with a weak smile. But the biker didn't see an accident. He saw an old man. Without a word, the young man in mirrored shades stepped forward and slapped Hal across the face. Hard. The crack rang off the brick like gunfire. Hal crumpled to the sidewalk. His paper bag tore open. The bread rolled into the gutter. The bar crowd laughed. Phones stayed pocketed. Nobody moved. Hal sat up slowly, one knee trembling, face flushed not with pain but shame. He reached for the bread, brushing off grit and oil, and tucked it back into the bag as if that restored some dignity. The biker, already laughing with his friends again. Hal limped to the nearby bench, gripping the metal post to steady himself. His cane had rolled into the street. No one helped him get it. The ache in his joints was nothing compared to the silence that surrounded him. Years ago, he had pulled comrades from flaming wreckage in Kandahar. Now, he couldn't get someone to offer him a paper towel. He pulled out a battered flip phone. One button. Falcon 1, emergency only. He tapped it, then leaned back and waited. Section 2. When the Sky Moved. 15 minutes passed. Hal didn't move. He looked like a tired man waiting for a bus. Then, the air changed. The first vibration was subtle, just a tremor in the pavement. A waitress at the diner looked up. A patron shaded his eyes outside the bar. Then came the sound, deep, rhythmic, unnatural, something that made water ripple in glasses and dogs bark from passing cars. And then, they saw it. Low, across the horizon, slicing between the rooftops, came a Black Hawk helicopter, matte black, moving fast. Bones came out, faces changed, fear replaced bravado. The chopper descended into the empty field behind the shops. Simultaneously, a black SUV pulled up from the other direction, tires screeching. Boots hit the pavement. 12 figures in tactical gear spread like shadows, silent, focused, like they'd rehearsed it 100 times. Out of the helicopter stepped one man. No swagger, no shout, just command. Colonel Nathaniel Morgan was in his early 50s, broad-shouldered, eyes like steel. He moved with quiet purpose, straight to the bench where Hal sat. Hal looked up, no words, just a nod. Nathaniel knelt beside him, gently brushed a speck of dried blood from Hal's cheek. "I got here as fast as I could, Dad." Across the street, the biker froze, laughter dying in his throat. He saw the patch on Nathaniel's shoulder. United States Army Special Operations. The realization struck like thunder. He had just hit the wrong man. Section 3. Confrontation and Consequence. Colonel Morgan rose slowly, eyes still fixed on his father. Then, with deliberate calm, he turned to the biker crowd. Behind him, his team fanned out, wordless and watchful. Nathaniel's voice was low, clear, and cutting. "Which one of you hit a veteran?" Silence. Then, one biker, nervous now, raised his hands half-heartedly. "Man, he bumped my bike. It was just some old guy." Nathaniel took one step forward. "That old man has more honor in his silence than you'll find in 1,000 engines." The bar crowd was quiet now. A few had started recording. One biker muttered, "You military types think you run everything." Another step. Nathaniel didn't raise his voice. "I didn't come to threaten. I came because my father bled on a sidewalk while cowards laughed." He raised a finger. One of his soldiers spoke into his radio. 2 minutes later, a police cruiser rolled up. Lights on, sirens off. Quiet. Nathaniel said nothing, just pointed. The officers understood. Cuffs clicked. The biker didn't fight. Confidence drained from him like cheap fuel in the rain. Section 4. When the town woke up. As the cruiser pulled away, the silence shifted. A woman with gray-streaked hair stepped forward and handed Hal a handkerchief. "I should have said something," she whispered. "I'm sorry." Hal nodded, accepting it gently. Then more came. A boy no older than 10 stepped up and gave a shaky salute. A father lifted his daughter and pointed to Hal, whispering something. A former Navy man in flannel stood at attention. Then another, in a VFW cap, joined him. Soon, a quiet line of veterans formed across the sidewalk, shoulder to shoulder. Hal sat taller, not from pride, from relief. Something had been lifted. By evening, the video went viral. No music, no narration, just raw footage. "Respect the elder. The quiet man on 5th. Local news picked it up. By morning, it was national. The bar released a limp apology. No one cared. The mayor called Colonel Morgan personally, asked if the town could honor Hal. Nathaniel replied, "If it's for him, not a headline. He'll be there."